I'd like to talk a little about my father. He was a very, very extraordinary person. When I was young, it wasn't that I didn't appreciate him, I just thought that that's how everybody is. Quite a few years have passed since I was a little boy, and I found out that that actually isn't the case. My father was a very, very gentle person and a very kind person. He had a unique quality in that he would always accept everybody for what they were. He didn't try to manipulate people, didn't try to change people, and he was very moderate and very guarded in his expression and his speech. In other words, he always spoke in a very pleasing way. I had never ever, in the 19 years that I lived at home, I never heard a swear word. I never heard a quarrel or an argument between my parents. For me, this was like, that's how everybody lives. But it wasn't, and it isn't, unfortunately, it isn't like that. And of course, it took two of them. My mother was extraordinary, and my father. But even in that sense, more so. My father was, well, in English, a gentleman's gentleman is called a butler. But you could say he was a gentleman amongst gentlemen. He was a real gentleman. And although he didn't approve of many of the things that I did in my experiments with reality and truth, such as, giving up university, what to speak of becoming a Hare Krishna monk, but still, in the last time that I actually saw him, when he was in reasonably good health, and we were just together and talking, and at one point he said, "Never leave Krishna." Now that was the last thing I expected to hear my father say, and I didn't mention that my father was also really quite religious. He would ask me often, "Do you think about God?" And we would go together to church. I had to go to church every Sunday, and he would often come along with me. So it wasn't something that I expected him to say. I was really quite surprised. But as I said, he was willing to accept the person for what he was. My mother never accepted me for being a Hare Krishna, but my father did. And not only did he accept, but you could see more or less his last thing to me was that I approve of what you're doing and now you should stick with it. So that type of largesse is really quite rare, and I could go on with a lot of other things, but yes, my father was a very, very wonderful person. Unfortunately, he was a very rare person. The only other person I've ever met who matched him was my spiritual father, my spiritual master. And of course, he didn't match him. He outdid him in so many ways. But other than that, I've yet to meet someone like my father.